watch me negotiate a 6 mobile home park in, are you ready? In beautiful, what the heck? Cohuta, Georgia. This property for $850,000 was sent by one of my JVs, and they are open to seller financing. So I'm gonna get on the phone with the realtor. I'm gonna call Brian. We're gonna talk terms. I'm going to talk seller financing, down payment, interest rate, purchase price, balloon, amortization, and I'm also going to talk about the rent, the expenses, and the net operating income and the cap rate. This video will help you feel a lot more comfortable talking to realtors and sellers when you're negotiating multifamily RV parks or mobile home parks, when you're trying to make a $100,000 assignment fee. Are you ready? Enough talking. Let's jump into this video. I hope you appreciate it.
Hello?
Hi, is this Brian?
Yeah.
Hi, Brian. My name is Max Deer. I'm a realtor out in the Dallas area, and I have my partner Skylar on the phone. And we were actually calling about your 6 manufactured homes in Cohuta, Georgia.
Yeah.
How are you today?
How can I help you? Yeah, good.
Well, I believe one of our associates, Glenn, called you earlier, and he was getting some information about their seller financing terms.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember speaking with Glenn.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, no, Glenn does initial outreach for us, and then he'll send us over leads. So I was excited to talk to you about this opportunity.
Sure.
Wonderful. So yeah, I have the rent rolls in front of me, and I didn't have much in terms of the inside of the properties. So what
Yeah.
did those look like? Can you give me some idea?
How they look like in the
Yeah,
inside?
I mean, are they fixed up inside, or they haven't been fixed up in a long time?
Yeah, they're fixed up. They're looking really good.
Nice.
I haven't seen them personally. But
Okay.
for one the seller has told me that's what he told me that they all look pretty nice and they're in good condition.
Okay. Then do you know when they were rehabbed?
I know he rehabbed at least 3 of them within the last 4 years, 4 years, just because he got a new tenant in there and then like he put them in place. But no, at the moment, all the tenants they do all the repairs and maintenance of the homes.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
can I ask real quick about the roof status? Do you know the last time those roofs were replaced, or is that on the tenants to replace those you said, or?
That's on the tenant. All repairs for the building and maintenance for appliance, stove, kitchen, fridge, everything falls into the tenant. Same with insurance. They also pay for their own insurance. The only expense out of the landlord, it's the mowing the grass and like taking care of the yard. And he said he spent about $400 a month during the summer, and
Yeah.
then he doesn't do it otherwise because it's just doormat, so it's the grass. So he doesn't have to take care of that. And then he pays property taxes as well, which last bill was like about $780 or $180. So
That's insane to me that the taxes are $780 a year, right?
yeah,
That's what I pay per month on a regular house here in Dallas. That's just wild. Georgia is such a great state. I love it there. Okay, now I was saying that you have in-place rent and pro forma rent. Why would there be a pro forma rent? I see a couple units are on the really cheap end.
yeah, because those were on the cheap end, around like I believe there was like one that was like $600 a month, $900 a month. Market rent over there for a home like that will be about 1,200 to 1,500. So that's why we put it on the low end on the 1,200. But we have tenants paying 15 over there, and they're
Sure. And then what's the reason for that? Is it just they've been in there for a while and the landlord doesn't want to up the rent, or those properties haven't been fixed up so nice? What's the reason for the really below market rent?
no, he just hasn't been. I guess he's gonna retire, so
Yeah.
he doesn't want to deal with the negotiations of increasing the rent. He's been having it for a long time. He doesn't have any debt, so there's not a lot of incentive for him to like raise the price for a few hundred
Gotcha.
dollars a month for him. So
But just to confirm that like 5396 Cleveland Highway is very similar to, I don't know, 5394, same condition, you know, it's a little bit smaller, sure, but it's not that like the property is not as nice or something inside, right? It's just really that the landlord is just not incentivized to increase the rent, but he has the ability to, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. Okay, wonderful. And that sounds good there. Now, in terms of what the seller wanted in seller financing, do you have a rough idea of what his terms are?
He's okay. He wants at least no longer than 5 years
Okay,
for the financing. That's his limit. And then he's fine with a 5% interest rate. And then he wants at least 10 to 50% down.
okay.
Something in that realm.
That seems
I-
that seems very fair.
We had an offer a couple weeks ago, and it was 100% financing. He doesn't want to deal with anything like that.
Oh wow.
Because the last thing he wants is like, the last thing he wants is like you just collect the rent and then default later on. Like
I'll take that deal right now if we can do 100% financing. Go ahead,
What was
Skylar.
that offer one more time? You said that
It was 100% financing, Skylar, meaning $0 down.
Sorry.
Yeah. It was $0 down, but it was a 1-year term. But no down payment.
He doesn't want to deal with
prefers
that.
Yeah.
Right. It says here that that I have on my notes that Glenn might have talked about a 7-year balloon. Is that something that you guys talked about?
We did. I brought it up, and that's when he said like he won't go higher than 5 years.
Sure.
Or longer than 5 years.
Okay. Then so we may be able to make something work. So you mentioned 10 to 15% down, 5% interest, 5-year balloon. Now, where is the seller the most flexible? Would that be on the monthly payments so we can get a longer amortization, meaning lower monthly payments, or is that on the purchase price? Like, can we work with him on lowering the purchase price? What's more important to him, those monthly payments or that full purchase price?
I gotta be honest, I haven't had that conversation with him.
Sure.
I'm happy to give him a call and see where he's at.
Yeah.
And then I can let you guys know.
That'd be great, because really our goal at Terms Realty is we're trying to work and get what the seller wants the most, right? Some sellers, they just care about their purchase price. Some sellers need a specific down payment. Some sellers want a specific interest rate. And we want to make sure that we can deliver on those and then have them work with us on the other side of the deal to make it a fair deal, a win-win deal. So, okay, so yeah, but we can also submit, maybe I can have my analyst run some numbers today and tomorrow, and maybe you can speak with the seller and give us some more clarity. And we can also submit maybe 2 different types of offers, one with maybe a different down payment, different interest rate, different purchase price, and we'll see what your seller prefers. That's another avenue.
Okay.
That's great. Now,
go ahead. Where are you guys leaning at? What would be the ideal term for you guys?
Yeah, I need to rerun the numbers, because what concerned me was simply your expenses seemed very low. Now I understand taxes are very low there. I understand that they're not paying for anything, but I would just need to double check. Like, as far as management's going, it's pretty much, it's not even that it's self-managed, it's just that it's tenant managed, right? The tenants are pretty much managing the properties themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind, how does that situation work? This is not a lease to own situation. Does he just really find great tenants, or how is he able to find these tenants that will fix up the properties themselves? If there's a problem with the roof, they'll fix it themselves. That's not so common.
I know it's very unique. I think it has to be the fact that he was a local from the area. This is not the only. He owns more homes in the same Coda, Georgia area. So I guess like he has like very knows the community, has a lot of experience, and was able to get those negotiation in place and have the tenants pay for everything.
Gotcha.
But right now they're on that lease, and I don't think they'll change even if they sell the property.
How long have those tenants lived there? Do you know on average?
I know some of them have been there as long as 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other they've been there like 5. I know the newest one has been there 5 years.
Okay. So yeah, they've been long-standing tenants. Understand. Now,
Yeah.
so the seller's retiring. Is there any other properties that he's looking to liquidate in his portfolio, or is this the only one?
Right now, we also have listed 10 acres of land
Okay.
in that same street. It's a little south of where that is, but it's just raw land. It's zone commercial, but in Georgia, there's not really like zoning, so you can put whatever in there.
Nice.
To be honest, so we're selling that, and he also has like uh, hunting land that he's selling, about like 50 acres. That one's closer to Chattanooga.
Okay.
But those are the ones he wants to liquidate at the moment. Once we sell these, then he might be inclined to sell the other homes that he owns over there.
Yeah, not a problem. What's the okay? Yeah, I would like to also just get that other information on those extra 10 acres, because if somebody buys this, they may want to
Yeah.
also develop on the 10 nearby. So I'll also be circling back with that. Do you have a link to that or the purchase price?
Yeah, I can send you the offer memorandum we have for that.
Wonderful. That would
The
be
listing.
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Text me your email
Mm-hmm.
onto this number, and then I'll send it to you.
Yeah, not a problem there. Okay, what other questions do I have? So yeah, I mean, when it comes to terms, I just need to run the numbers because I was just a little bit, shocked by seeing that the rent was pretty much the net operating income, right? Because your expenses are so low, you're just not used to seeing that.
I wanted to clarify that real quick before we hop off the phone as well. I see the net operating income from 2023 is, the 78,600. Is that? Can you confirm that for me?
Yeah, sure.
Is that it? I just want to make sure our numbers are right. So when we go and underwrite, we're not wasting time or anything. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, where it says like in place rent, and then the total it's like 78,600, something like that.
Okay. Now, taxes in Georgia, do they reassess annually? Do they reassess at sale? Do they reassess every decade? What should we expect?
I'm not too sure.
Okay. I'll look into that.
I'm not in Georgia. I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. Okay. Yeah, we do a lot of business in Florida. Oh, then what's your relationship to the seller?
He has. I'm an industrial broker. So he has a lot of industrial buildings in Chattanooga.
Oh, nice.
So he retired. He sold his business to his son, and then he has a bunch of warehouses that he was looking to sell. And then he told me that he has these homes that he was looking to sell. I was like, I'll put it in the market for you and see what happened. So
gotcha. Okay.
That's I have. That's what I have. So if you have anything else, Max.
I have two more questions. So just wanted to get a little bit more clarity. We talked about which units. You mentioned that most of them were rehabbed. Did you say all of them were rehabbed in the last 4 or 5 years, or you said most of them were rehabbed?
Most of them.
And now, do you know which ones were not?
Yeah, I can find out.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that would, and I mean, if they're not rehabbed, like what condition are we looking at? Are we looking at something where we have to get in there immediately rehab, or I just wanted to get because again, I'm not going unless you have inside pictures. That would be great, but I'm going off of not having much.
Yeah.
Because I just need to for our analysts, I need to determine how much in rehab costs we would need to spend on those maybe 2 or 3 buildings that aren't rehabbed.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, that's my one question. And then really my last question, Brian, and thank you so much for being, so kind to Skylar and I and giving us your time. You mentioned that one offer that came in with 100% financing, and it's very obvious to me why y'all turned that down. But it's also, the property's been on the market for, I don't know, maybe a month and a half now. It looks like an incredible property to me, like a great opportunity. Have you received other offers, or what do you think the reason is that you haven't sold it yet?
Because it's a
small town.
It's a small deal. There's not enough homes. A lot of the buyers are looking for like 20 units or more.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I'm just curious because you would know better than me. Okay, well, that's all the information we need. We will work to be hopefully getting you an LOI in the next 48 hours or so. If you can just follow up with me, I'll send you an email. If you can follow up with me about the land nearby, as well as maybe the condition of those properties inside that haven't been rehabbed, and then also the most important terms for the seller. Seller's like, hey, I gotta have 850. Okay, we're gonna do our best to get you 850, but you really got to work with us on, the interest rate or the amortization. Or if he's like, I need a bigger monthly payment. Okay, well, you got to work with us on a price a little bit. That's just what I need to figure out.
Okay.
But I'm really excited about this one. This, seems like an overall good deal. And I love properties where, you don't have to, you can almost sit and forget, right? These people are taking care of the properties
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
That's what I like. It's almost passive income.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's amazing. When I first read the leases, I was like, this is pretty much a triple net deal. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I was confused too. It's like it is triple net. There you go. I love to see
yeah,
that. Okay, cool. Well,
I
thank you
know.
so much, Brian. Oh, look, I have to. Oh, yeah. Last question. I have to ask. Do you have any other? I know you also do industrial, but do you have any other residential income, multifamily, anything like that you have available?
Not me personally, but in my office we have a team that they solely focus on mobile home parks,
Nice.
RV parks, and multifamily. They're crushing it right now. They're amazing.
Yeah.
I can put you in contact with them. They have a lot of listings, especially in Florida. They have Florida, Georgia, and some in the Carolinas. But yeah,
Oh yeah, we buy all over the
killing it
country,
over there.
so would love to. Skylar, can you make sure to follow up with Brian about that?
Yep, I will.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, Brian. I won't take any more of your time.
Awesome. Thanks,
Okay,
Brian. Really
awesome.
appreciate your time, man.
All right, thank you. You too.
All right, bye, Brian. Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you're appreciating this video, please, please just hit that subscribe button. Most of my viewers on this channel are not subscribed, and I don't get why. Why would you not subscribe to me? I'm a nice guy. I make free content. I have a free Discord channel that you should join. Link down below where I teach you to underwrite multifamily deals or mobile home park deals, and you can make fat assignment fees. You get in there, you JV with me and my team, and we will help you make money. And it's free. So subscribe and join my Discord. Okay, back to the video. So how did our conversation go? I think it went really, really well. I like this deal. So let's just summarize the terms that we have. Mobile home park. The PP is pretty small. It's a pretty small PP. It's $850,000, and that's the purchase price. What has me the most excited about this deal? It's not the interest rate. It's not the small PP. It's not the big cap rate. It's not the big cash on cash return or COC. It's none of those things. It is actually the down payment. The down payment. Did you hear what the realtor said? He said 10 to 15% down. I heard 10. So 10% down would only be $85,000. So you're telling me I only have to put $85,000 down and I can buy an $850,000 property that's printing money? Bro, that's incredible. Talk about leverage. So that means our loan, our seller finance loan, right, our SF loan is going to be how much? Well, let's use some quick math. We've went through middle school and we can determine that's what, $785,000. Never mind. I guess I didn't go through middle school. 765,000. Excuse me. And the realtor said that he wants 5% interest. This is not interest only. This is just interest. And, well, he didn't say the amortization. So I'm going to assume 30-year AM, but he wanted a 5-year balloon. So what does all that mean? What does this mean? This means that, hey, you're going to pay $850,000 for this property, but just give me $85,000 now, pay the other $765,000 in payments, and we'll see how much these payments are by using a loan amortization calculator. We'll be able to calculate these payments, but I want the rest of the money in 5 years. So maybe in 5 years you would have only paid, I don't know, 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, but I want the rest of it in 5 years. That's what that balloon means. So that means I'm going to cash flow beautifully for 5 years, but at year 5 I better have to refinance, sell the property, win the lottery, do something to pay off the rest of that money. Is that ideal? No, the ideal situation would be no balloon. But the guy wants a balloon. I can't blame him. He wants his money. So your goal as an investor, if somebody wants a balloon, that means that you need to get a really good cash on cash return. And I'll show you how to calculate that. You need to get a really good profitability for those first few years before that balloon comes up. So in this situation, my goal is to get the COC, the cash on cash return. I want to get my COC as big as possible, big cock, during those 5 years. Because in year 5, it disappeared. So I'm gonna have to refinance. I'm gonna have to do something. And mobile home parks, they're tough to finance. Not a lot of people want to lend on mobile home parks. So it's gonna be a tough situation. So right now, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna offer 5% for 30 years. Even though my cash flow may be great, I want a bigger cock. I want bigger profitability. But let's run the numbers at these numbers. So if we flip over to an amortization calculator, this will tell you what your monthly payments will be. At 5% interest on an AM schedule, that's $4,100 per month. Another way of saying this is pretty much like what, $50,000 a year. Well, do you notice the problem? If I'm gonna have to spend $50,000 a year to the seller. Okay, that's a lot more than I thought. That's a lot of money. Remember, they said they were making $78,600 in profit, and that's considering there are no expenses, right? This is pretty much what their rent is. They're not even putting expenses in here. They said their taxes are like $1,000 a year, and he spends a few $100s on a gardener. So pretty much no expenses. We need to add expenses because there's no way that when we get this property, the expenses are going to be this low. I have my doubts that this is triple net. I have my doubts that the tenants are paying for a new roof. If you're telling me if there's a storm and the roof breaks, the tenants are going to pay for that. It just seems a bit odd to me. Or the tenants are going to fix everything. I guess the tenants have their own insurance, but the whole thing seems a bit odd. You're telling me they're renting the properties, but they're paying for all the expenses. I don't see that very often, and I don't trust it. As an investor, you shouldn't trust that stuff. I shouldn't trust a realtor. I shouldn't trust a seller. I should run the numbers conservatively. Don't go off of their numbers. Go off of what you think is fair, then write the offer. So in this situation, what am I going to assume? I don't think there's going to be a 50% expense ratio. So if they're making $80,000 a year, and again, I'm going to go off of what they're making now. I'm not going to go off of the 94,000. If they're making $80,000 a year, I don't think the net income is going to be 40,000. I think the expense ratio may be less. So let's just say 60,000. Let's say they take home 60,000. Okay, that would be a 25% expense ratio, somewhere in between their 0 and my 50 that I usually use. Now, are these numbers perfectly accurate? Absolutely not. You should spend the time and actually run clear numbers. I should be calculating, hey, property management is going to cost me 8%. Uh, Insurance is going to cost me this. Okay, I don't have to pay insurance. Taxes is going to cost me this when it gets reassessed. We should be going through all those numbers. But just for the sake of this video, let's just say that our net income or net operating income is 60,000, right? So our NOI is 60. Well, if we have $50,000 and we call this debt servicing cost, that's our seller finance payments, that makes our CFADs, that's a fancy word for saying cash flow after debt servicing, that makes it only $10,000, less than $1,000 a year. That's awful. Because if I take $10,000 and I divide that by our entry fee, the amount of money it took us to get into this deal, that's actually more than 85,000. Because you're going to have to pay assignment fees, maybe realtor fees, maybe closing costs, maybe, I don't know, rehab, right? The property may need extra rehab. We have to talk to the realtor and see if those buildings need work. He said 2 of them need work. And if I go back to the rents, like, to me, this looks a little sketchy. You're telling me this property should rent for 1,200, but it's only renting for 600, and this property should rent for 1,200, but it's only renting for 850, and this one should rent for 1,200, but it's only renting for 900. To me, these 3 properties aren't fixed up. So 3 properties I need to fix up, that could cost $50,000. I don't know. Depends how badly they're damaged. Well, let's just say the rehab costs $30,000. So now your entry fee is closer to, I don't know, 115,000, and then you have some extra fees. So let's just say you're at $120,000. Well, now I'm going to divide this by $120,000, the cash it took me to get into the deal, and now my cock is small. So I was wrong in the beginning of the video. I thought I was going to have a big cock, but my cock is small. Okay, it's not too small. It's a very, very normal sized cock. It's 8.3%. Now that may seem like a lot, like, 8.3% returns is great. But for a mobile home park, not that great. I would like to see much, much higher. If this was multifamily, okay, that wouldn't be bad. Usually, and it's gonna depend on your area. In the middle of nowhere, Georgia, I want to see a bigger cap rate. I want to see a bigger cash on cash return. I want to see bigger numbers. If this was downtown Dallas, this is great returns, right? It depends on your location. But 8.3%. for 5 years and then I owe the guy a big balloon, that doesn't get me out of bed in the morning. So what do I need to do to make this a good deal? Make this exciting? Well, this is when you start to play around with the terms. You have to decide, hey, I need to see a cap rate and a caulk at this number. And by the way, if you don't know how to calculate the cap rate, I have a ton of videos on that, but they're just taking the net operating income like we did, and instead of dividing it by the entry fee, they're just dividing it by the purchase price and just telling you what the value of the property is. But again, I don't trust their numbers fully because when I buy it, I feel like my taxes are going to go up. I'm going to have more expenses. There's just going to be more costs associated with this property. So I think their cap rate's a bit high. But anyways, what's some things we can do with this deal? Well, we could make the amortization longer. So instead of amortizing this loan over, let's say 30 years, we could say, hey, I want to do a 50-year am. And that's going to drop our payments significantly. Maybe now instead of paying $4,000 a month, maybe we're paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Plug it into your calculator. That's going to make your balloon payment higher at the end, but at the end of the day, it helps you cash flow. But something that you see a lot in commercial is to do interest only. So IO. What this means is that you're not paying down any portion of the principal. You're not paying down any of the loan. You're just paying interest. And that may sound like it sucks, but your monthly payments are a lot lower. So I'm going to try running the numbers at 2% IO, interest only. And it's super easy to calculate. If we have $765,000 in debt, instead of going over to that amortization calculator and plugging all the numbers, all you're going to do is 765,000 times 0.02. That gives us $15,300. And if you divide that by 12, that's only $1,275 a month. That's a lot better than $50,000. Now we're talking $15,000. Okay. That started to get interesting. So I only have to pay $15,000 a month in debt servicing costs? Okay. And you're telling me that the NOI is 60, but what if I can get those rents up? What if now by spending that money that we talked about earlier, I can get those rents up to where they're saying? Let's just say it's possible. I want to play fairy tale for a second. Well, if I can get those rents up to $94,000, an extra about $1,000 a month, let's just say, again, this is back in the napkin math we're doing. We would really be trying to do these numbers concretely, but for the sake of this video, we're just flinging through this. Let's say I can get my NOI not at 60 because I spent some money. We're getting it closer to $70,000. All right. So they're saying it's 90. We say, hey, we got $20,000 a year in just expenses. Stuff happens. And that's, again, being conservative. Maybe there's less. If this is really more like triple net and they're taking care of everything, maybe we walk away with $80,000 a year. But I like to err on the side of caution. So we'll just say 70. So $70,000 a year is our NOI. And that makes our CFADs, right? We're going to subtract the two. CFADs is $55,000. Whoa, these numbers are so much better. So we went from 5,000 to 55,000. So now we just take 55,000 and we divide it by that 120. Nice cock. Get ready. Nice cock. 46%. A 46% cash on cash return. I don't even know what I'm drawing. It's so nice. That gets me out of bed in the morning. So if I can actually spend like 30 grand to rehab those units and get them up to market rent, if I can negotiate an interest only, this looks like a good deal to me. Now, again, there's a lot of uncertainties here. I have to call the realtor back and figure out all this information, but this is more what we're looking for. Maybe the seller would be open to 2% interest only. This would be my pitch. Hey, man, you know what? I can pay you full price. Hey, man, I can give you a 5-year balloon. Hey, man, I'll meet you on your 10% down payment. You got to work with me. These properties need some work. I got to bump up 3 of these units up to market rent, and that's not easy. I got to go in there, fix them up. It's tough for me to get financing. In 5 years, when this balloons, I mean, what am I going to do? So I need a great cash on cash return right now. I have to do 2% interest only. You're going to be getting some interest. You'll be getting $15,000 a year in free money. And then in 5 years, you're going to win the lottery. You're going to get a ton of money. But for these next 5 years, I'm just going to be giving you $15,000. You're winning everywhere. I'm losing everywhere, man. So come on, just take this deal. That's more or less the pitch. But you can see the power of interest only. I mean, wow, look at these numbers. So that's sort of where I'm thinking. I'm going to keep working these numbers. I'm going to go back and forth with the seller, and I'll update you guys. If I get this property under contract, damn, I may need to keep this one myself. I'm just worried that in 5 years, what am I going to do? Like, ugh. That's going to be tough. Like that's a future problem though, right? So maybe we worry about that in 5 years. But another avenue we can take, and this is maybe something I'm going to do, if the seller's flexible on the price, I'm going to try to get him to come down on the price some, even if that means I have to pay more interest, because in 5 years, I'm going to have a big problem on my hands having to pay that full $850. So if he's flexible at like $750, but he wants his 4% interest only, that could work too. By the way, guys, this video is sponsored, well, by nobody. I don't have enough subscribers. So it's sponsored by me. I write children's financial education books. This is my first book, and I just released my second book. It would mean the world to me if you checked it out. The link is in the description down below. If you have a kid or somebody in your family has a kid, or you've seen a kid on the street at random one time, then buy them this book. This book will actually teach them about inflation. It's called Once Upon a Milk. You see that? Once Upon a Milk. Go buy it. So anyways, I really hope you guys appreciated this video and you see how this all worked. I mean, this was a mega video. This is my longest video I've ever made. And I really hope you guys watch it through, you share it. If this video was helpful, please share it. Like, you don't know how much it helps this channel. I am on the path to 2,000 subscribers, and I can only do it if you share this video. So I urge you, I plead you, I beg of you, just share the video with one other person and help them out and help me out. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Max is out.